conversations that I correlate back to the science of marketing. Marketing is both an art and a science. The art revolves around things like the images and the content, and they are incredibly important. And then there's a science portion of it. This is all about testing, right? Test, operate, test, exit. That's a good model to look at. Or you can look at it as, the scientific theory of come up with a hypothesis, test it, make tweaks till you find your answer. Either way you want to look at it, the reality is that marketing is both an art and a science. I'm Jennifer Tamborski, CEO and Chief Strategist at Virtual Marketing Experts. And what I kind of wanted to chat about today was the science part of marketing. So often people develop a process or a product or a course or any number of things in their business, and they often forget that sometimes it's those little tweaks along the way that make the biggest difference. So the conversation that I had in the last couple of days, one was testing your target market. Sometimes you have an idea in mind of who your ideal client is, and that ideal client doesn't connect with you. So maybe you test the target market, or maybe it's testing your product on your target market to see if they are connecting with it. That is really important, right? Because sometimes you will create this awesome, let's say, course or training. You create this fantastic training and you realize that your target market isn't as interested in it as you are. For instance, I created this fantastic Gantt chart for product launches. It's awesome. And other marketing geeks like me love it. But what I found out is my target market wasn't interested in it. They really didn't care. Like, that wasn't something that that they found interesting or connected with them. So I shelved that and I use it in my business rather than giving it away for other people to use, because it is a fantastic product for my business, but maybe not for somebody else's. So that's one of the things that I encourage my clients in the conversation I had this morning about a course that was developed, and it's an amazing course. And it was developed over 5 weeks. And what we found is that the market isn't necessarily staying engaged over those 5 weeks. So the question then becomes, what can we do? Can we shorten the amount of time or drop in additional communication with that audience so that they stay engaged? Because the training is fantastic and they will get a ton of value out of it, but we need to keep them engaged. That's also a test, right? You have something that you want to implement in one way, you implement it, and then you learn from what your audience's behavior is on what works and what doesn't. I find that a lot of people forget this. Sometimes they create a product and they put it out there, and maybe the audience doesn't connect with it, so they shelve it completely. When maybe it just needed a few tweaks. Maybe instead of being 5 days, it needed to be a 1-hour webinar. Or maybe instead of being 5 weeks, it needed to be 10 days. Or there's a number of variations that you can do in order to make sure that your product is connecting with your audience. So right now, while we have the time, I'd encourage you to look at your products and services. Look at what's working and what's not, and look at the things that you might have shelved in the past. Really take a look at those and see if there's an opportunity there to re-engage your audience with them, or to offer it again in a way that the people that connect with you most are going to purchase or download. That's my tip for today. I hope you are going to have a great week, and I will talk to you tomorrow.